Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. Welcome to a new episode of Lads Discuss Death Battle. I am joined here as always by Saber King.
Your cat loves food. Yeah.
And we're joined here by the most controversial man in the verse community, Jaru J.
Oh, you give me too much credit. There are way more controversial people than me.
Right?
Okay.
My
Let me.
most controversial thing is thinking Ganon is not planetary.
Okay, let me rephrase that. We have the most nicest man in the versus community, but for some reason, 90% of the versus community think he's a giant dick.
Yeah, I'm not. I could be nicer. I could have been more polite in my disagreements. So I guess that's on me. But,
Well, the people who disagreed with you could have been nicer.
They could have.
sure, but eye for an eye. Doesn't
Yeah.
really work out.
But we're here to discuss, of course, the latest death battle between She-Ra, the female He-Man, versus Wonder Woman, the most beautiful Amazon of all time that Jaru
What?
hates for some reason.
Literally called She-Ra the female He-Man. You're not about
Wow.
to call her Wonder Woman the female Superman?
Because
I
she's better than Superman.
Oh, she's so much worse. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
hilarious.
no. Why?
And as well, we're going to discuss the sort of next time, but more or less the reveal of one of the combatants. Before continuing on, folks, do be aware we are going to spoil the death battle. Frankly, at this point, you should know this by now if you've been watching us.
It's literally been 2.5 hours. How have you not seen the new episode?
I mean, 2.5 hours from now. I mean, this will probably come out next year or something.
Also,
Next year.
I'm not. Sean, if you see this, I'm not dissing you. I'm just having a bit of fun. Please do not put another dumb counter. Please, I can't handle it.
But yeah, no. Also, we're doing something different with the audio, so let us know if we sound similar in volume or if some of us sound louder, so we can adjust.
Exactly.
Alright then, so, She-Ra versus Wonder Woman. So, okay, when I heard this death battle was announced, the side of me was kind of disappointed because not only was it a returning combatant, but it was the third time a combatant returned, which is kind of a shame. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Wonder Woman, she's my favourite DC character.
Well, you have
Sorry.
low standards.
Yikes.
Sorry, I had a kebab earlier, I just burped.
It's okay.
But okay, I like Wonder Woman, man. Like, okay, ignoring her older comics, she has gotten much more in-depth, like, character development, stuff like that. She's no longer the mindset of a weird BDSM comic book writer. Like, look that up, people. That was a thing.
You know her comic book creator was the guy who invented the lie detector.
Are you serious?
No, I'm not serious.
Oh, you troll. You troll.
Yes, I'm serious.
Okay, Sean, you could put a dumb counter for that. You know, that I fell right into that.
No.
Okay, put a Bill Troll count. That'll be a new thing. So obviously, I was even though, I don't know anything about She-Ra aside the Netflix show, which is a fantastic show, by the way. You should go watch it.
7 out of 10.
But since this is based on the original She-Ra, I went into this thinking I don't know anything about She-Ra then, because this is a completely different character. Especially just from judging the clips that they used for She-Ra in this death battle. Wow, she is 100% different from the one that I just saw on Netflix. So it was kind of hard to root for her in a way.
What the hell are you talking about? Hard.
Oh, come on. She could be the worst character in existence, and I'd root for her over Wonder Woman.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but at the same time, though, last episode, is something going on with one of your audios?
What?
No.
I'm hearing tapping going on. It's like someone's just tapping.
That's me. Go, just move on.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
Is it this?
So,
No, it was me. It was me.
so when you guys mentioned Sailor Moon versus She-Ra, I was thinking to myself, oh my goodness, that would have been so epic. And don't get me wrong, as much as I like Wonder Woman, I do think it may. Okay, even though I kind of joked about Rogue versus Wonder Woman should not be counted as a death battle, it was a death battle, and it was one, that for some reason a lot of the people on the internet wanted to see, believe it or not. I looked this up. Years ago, people were debating Rogue versus Wonder Woman. I was seriously thinking, wait, was this an actual debate?
Better matchup than literally every other Wonder Woman matchup we've had.
Thank you.
So returning for a second time, I was a bit forgiven because she was given a much more interesting opponent.
Interesting, huh?
If it isn't obvious enough, I do not like Rogue.
And if it's obvious enough, I do not like Thor versus Wonder Woman.
So I don't know. I just felt like this did kind of feel like a wasted potential to give She-Ra, or even we finally got another He-Man character finally after.
Yeah. What? 5 years? 6 years?
There's not even been a DBX or 1 minute melee of a He-Man character, and I'm thinking, okay, He-Man and She-Ra have a roster of characters that they've turned into toys. How have these guys not been in Death Battle yet? Freaking Wonder Woman, Batman, and Leonardo have been in 3 times.
And Deadpool.
And Deadpool. So I feel like there was a missed opportunity to give She-Ra. They could have introduced a new franchise into this fight as well. Do you need to take that, Jaru?
Yeah, give me a sec.
Okay, we'll cut this bit out. Sean, cut out and just put something funny on the image for a few seconds.
Never mind. Hung up.
Okay, well, Sean still put something funny on the image anyway.
Alright, continue.
But when I actually finally watched the episode, the analysis was... okay, so I'm of course going to talk about the analysis first. I thought it was brilliant, but Wonder Woman was kind of numbed down a bit compared to her. Even in Rogue vs. Wonder Woman, I felt like this one did not go in depth into Wonder Woman, unlike the first introduction to her. Which was a bit disappointing, but when they showed everything that the original She-Ra done, and I'm not even gonna lie, sorry to say this, Richard, I did think you were bullcrapping about the kick in the moon thing.
Oh, frig you.
Well, I can eat my own words. Bloody hell, she kicked that moon like it's a soccer ball.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like, oh, she kicked it and it just slightly moved. No, that went flying.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? When could she do that?
In her 80s cartoon.
I'm thinking, Netflix, why didn't you introduce me to that?
Because then that's not even a character at the point. That's just literally an 80s caricature who can do anything.
Is it kind of weird then that the Netflix version of She-Ra, which to people who is not that powerful, is more of an interesting character than the original, more powerful She-Ra?
Yes.
I guess that goes to show power doesn't mean character. Unless you're Goku. Then that's practically all your character is.
Yikes.
Ouch.
Okay, I'm not dissing Goku, I love that guy, I'm just saying,
Yeah,
that is his shtick, like, he's more powerful and you develop. That's a discussion for another time.
Yeah, you're getting off track.
So, now, away from the analysis, the actual fight itself...
Well, we should probably divide it. Let everyone get a chance to talk about the analysis.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, these guys want to talk about the analysis?
Well, I mean, just so that way it's not you talking for 30 minutes straight.
Oh, screw you! You are the...
Let
You're the...
everyone have a chance.
Do I need to point out... Do I want to point out you spoke for a whole 35 minutes talking about the verse community in one of our podcasts?
Yeah, you wanted me to. If you didn't want me to, I wouldn't have.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, let's hear their thoughts on the analysis first, and then we'll each talk about the fight. So, Jaru, since you're a dick to me, Richard can go first.
That's fine.
Yeah, no. Summary, I didn't get to say my piece. Yeah, really wish would have been Sailor Moon, but whatever. Yeah, analysis portion of this episode. Yeah, I gotta agree with Billy. It did feel like it was kind of unbalanced. It felt like they were really hammering home how powerful 80 She-Ra was, and then you get to Wonder Woman, and it's like that they're intentionally numbing down her most OP feats, because I don't know if maybe this was them tricking us into thinking maybe She-Ra's gonna win. But no, it definitely felt like for a third time a DC character has come back, their analysis is just repetitive. There's nothing new added, and there's just nothing interesting to make me invested in the rundown for this character. So yeah, and that's me saying that despite the fact that I do like Wonder Woman a bit, but I agree with Jaru. She is mostly just a boring character that you can't tell stories with.
Okay, we just got an update now. Richard and Jaru have been fired from the podcast for
Frig you! No, frig you!
for saying inaccurate information. So I do apologize on their behalf.
No, fuck you. So yeah, no. Comedy was meh as always. I'm sorry. Like I missed the comedy when they didn't show their faces. It was just so inventive and more creative. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The end analysis as well. Did not agree with it. I felt like there should have been more time dedicated to explaining why this person should beat that person. But yeah, that's it.
It did feel like they went in more depth about how Wonder Woman beat Thor, which
yeah, exactly.
Whereas, spoiler for people, She-Ra lost. Big shock.
Boo.
It's almost like they didn't care.
Exactly.
Oh my god. You're gonna get another Billy on the podcast again.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I agree. I feel like I even brought this up in my review. I feel like they didn't do a good job of explaining why She-Ra lost. They just were like, oh yeah, She-Ra was stronger, but what? And then Wonder Woman.
They did explain. They did explain.
She-Ra strong. Wonder Woman fast. Wonder Woman win.
Oh yeah, that's literally. They may have explained it, quotation marks, but they didn't go all out. And again, the fact that Thor versus Wonder Woman did a good job of explaining why Wonder Woman could beat Thor, it's an insult, I tell you.
Yeah, so is that all your thoughts about the initial analysis?
Yep.
Somebody's cruising for a bruising if we ever meet.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, when the Death Battle came out, yesterday? Was that when it came out on Restricted?
Yeah.
Yes.
I skipped to the end, saw that She-Ra lost, and then quit, and didn't bother watching the rest of the episode. And then I only watched it literally a minute ago before the podcast.
Oh, wow.
So, it's very fresh in my memory. As far as the analysis goes, very whatever. Comedy did nothing for me. The analysis, as far as math went, was very bare bones. Like, I swear they did like one calculation per character. It wasn't much.
Exactly.
It was like maybe one or two. It was very bare bones.
I think they wanted to calculate their best feats that they could find.
Yeah, that's fine, I guess.
So Wonder Woman's best speed feat, blocking all those shards across the universe, and of course She-Ra's.
That until the post analysis.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they wanted to, just like Richard said, they wanted to make
illusion that it was even remotely a fair match.
Yeah.
So yeah, wasn't much. The whole strength thing for Wonder Woman bugs me still because it's like, yes, struggles to move the moon, but we'll say she could move a third of the Earth. Yeah, definitely adds up. Also, ignore all the time she struggled to lift things much smaller than moons, planets.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So anyway, I wasn't super blown away. I mean, that's more inconsistency on DC's part than it is on Death Battle's part. But still,
DC have never had inconsistencies. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
They have set limitations and they never break free from those.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're so not inconsistent. They make Marvel look consistent.
Yep.
You got to give credit. That's a great feat.
Too many double negatives, actually.
No.
But no. At least Superman has the decency to have the sun be his Deus Ex Machina for why he's suddenly stronger or weaker. Wonder Woman has no such explanation. But anyway.
Word.
So yeah, not much to say on the analysis. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't memorable. None of the jokes landed for me. Admittedly, apparently I have higher standards for comedy than everyone else I know. But I don't know, like just comparing this to like the Pokemon Battle Royale and how gut-bustingly hilarious that one's analysis was. This is just like, I don't know, doesn't do it for me.
I think they will put all of their effort into Kenobi versus Kakashi's opening analysis just for the prequel memes on Kenobi's part.
Oh, man, that episode's so good.
Yeah, no, I legitimately think that's
that was
where
the only
all the
episode
effort.
this season that I was like, wow, that was a death battle.
Yeah.
Only because a Naruto character lost.
Well, that helped, but it was also just really well made. It was just hilarious.
Exactly.
Cool action. But anyway, speaking of which, let's move on to the actual fight.
Oh
Since I'm the more positive person in this, I'll go first.
Hey, I was positive in my review, you fucker.
Meow, fuck you. But anyway,
You're fired.
you can't fire me from my podcast.
I can fire you because I have the power to fire you.
No,
We have the power of the
that is
Emperor on our side.
that is literally the
Exactly.
opposite of this discussion. I could fire you.
You
Anyway,
can't fire a super
talk
Saiyan.
about the match, please.
Yeah, talk about the match.
So before I fire Richard, the actual fight itself, it was short, but I gotta admit it was actually pretty good for the small time it was on. Each character established, or not established, they showed off like their skillsmanship when it comes to swords, their powers. I did kind of wish why is it they can never show the full extent of Wonder Woman's rage mode? Come on, that's twice now. No, it's 3 times now they don't show it.
She
Don't
didn't
you know,
have it.
when Wonder Woman goes rage mode, that means she can beat anyone in 1 second.
Exactly.
Well, that's
Also,
not- that's
she
not-
didn't- Yeah, no. Also, too, her rage mode didn't exist in her first battle.
I swear it did. I swear she.
Nope. That
Really?
was a new 52 thing.
Then
Yeah,
why did
it
she wear
was.
the? But oh right, the BDSM thing. That's why she wore those.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
okay.
she
Well,
wore them throughout post-crisis too. It was always,
okay.
She always had them. They just did a different thing.
Okay. Well,
Exactly.
that's really my only complaint about the fight. They spoke about how this form makes Wonder Woman go beyond powerful, even to the point that she could beat Superman with this form. Yet they didn't really show the full extent. They just show her cutting She-Ra's sword and then just one-shot her. And I'm thinking, come on, you did that with 4 versus Wonder Woman. Why couldn't you have just had it go on for a bit longer? Have them fight. Even have like Swiftwing come in and have them fight in the air for a bit, and then have Wonder Woman finish them off.
Oh, I'll get to that.
That would have been too cool.
Yeah, that would have been expensive and too cool.
I mean, to be fair, the budget was definitely much better than on 4 versus Wonder Woman. They actually managed to load in the
that's an
background.
understatement.
They managed to load in the background and the attack effects. I also have to give mad props that these models were custom made. They didn't rip She-Ra from another game. I don't think there is a 3D She-Ra game anyway.
Oh no,
No, but
I don't think so.
but I did find I'll show it to you guys later on. But I found a killer rigged 3D She-Ra model. It looks like it could be used in Unreal Engine. It's beautiful.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Also, Wonder Woman's model looked really great. It looked like a mixture of the DCEU Wonder Woman, but a bit of the animated Wonder Woman from the old Justice League cartoon mixed into one, which was really great.
I would say it looks like the DCAU one mixed with a little bit of the pants look we saw in Injustice.
Okay, fair enough. So, do you know what? I have to give mad props. I did enjoy the fight as much as I can. I'd definitely say, probably an unpopular opinion, I'd rank it a 9 out of 10. It was short, but it was
Wow.
sweet. I thought it was really good. It was a well choreographed fight. Okay, so serious Bill talking for a moment. As someone who's written a lot of fight scenes for like his books, which unfortunately got cancelled because I can't finish whatever I write because I'm a pansy. I want fights to feel powerful. especially if it's like a fight to the death. I want them to feel like, oh, these two are fighting to stay alive. In most death battles, sometimes it just feels like, oh, at one point they're just messing about, but then suddenly they have this urge to kill, like in All Might versus Might guy, which there's definitely some inconsistencies in the fight choreography there. My brain spasmed for a moment. So in this fight, each attack that each character was displaying felt like a genuine fight to the death. And each, of course, every strike had like an impact to it. It wasn't just input random sound effect when they make a collision. Like, for instance, Goro versus Machamp, as much as the fight is cool, do you feel like the sound effects they have for the punches feel like they're just punching sandbags? Like, it should sound like...
Goro versus Machamp more than this, so I don't know if I can give the answer you're looking
Okay,
for.
well, it felt like their punches should have been like, sound like they were shattering bones and crushing, like they're... Like, it should be...
What are you talking about? There was a moment where Goro smashed Machamp's skull.
Yeah, that was the only bit where it generally felt like, oh, that hurt. Especially the bit where...
I didn't really pay a ton of attention to the sound effects, so I don't... You could be totally right.
Okay, so... I'm not saying like, oh, you guys don't understand, because I actually pay attention to this stuff. No, I'm just saying from my perspective, as someone who's written a lot of fights, and who's even actually performed I'm not saying I performed some good fighting moves for like plays, but of course, as someone who knows what it's like to actually be in the middle of something where I have to make it look like I'm fighting for my life, I can respect, you know, a well choreographed fight, especially in animation. Like, to capture that in animation's not always the easiest.
Okay.
So that's essentially my thoughts on it. So let's hear from a sort of positive but sort of negative Richard, and then we'll hear full on negative Jaru.
You don't know what I thought.
Yeah,
I watched
exactly.
it 2 seconds ago. You have no idea what my opinion is.
Well,
Exactly.
Well, because I'm biased, Richard could go first, because for one, he has Goku's his profile picture, and that's the best.
My profile pic is only as good as Jar's, but okay, whatever.
Is it obvious that I don't like Ganondorf?
Probably. Okay, so first of all, that was great. I do agree in some parts with Billy, although he was much more over generous than I was.
Oh wow, I should have let Jaru go first.
No. No, in all seriousness, I did like this fight. I love the cell shading. Okay, cell shading. It was much better implemented here than Weiss versus Mitsuru, and but I wouldn't say it's full on better than All Might versus Might Guy, because that too had some cell shading, but it was barely noticeable. But here, it was very, very good. The models were clean, they were sick. The sword fighting, very awesome. The use of the sort of protections transformations, the camera work, the choreography, the use of She-Ra's strength. Like, they really went all out to show just how strong she is, especially that moment where she breaks the bracelets of submission, and you just feel like, yeah, She-Ra is freaking killing it right now. All that was great. I loved all of that. Even the voice acting was pretty cool too. I give credit to Natalie and Amber; they did awesome. But there was one thing that held this fight back for me, and that was it being on the short side. I perfectly described this animation as a short burst of fun. It didn't feel like it was long enough, but it also, like Billy said, it felt like we could have gotten more. Like, seeing Swiftland appear, maybe Wonder Woman being in the invisible jet, like maybe all of that would have been cool to see. Wonder Woman using her other weapons. I mean, she only used her lasso once, and the lasso didn't even come off.
Oh, I didn't even see her use the lasso. Wow.
Yeah, no, like that opening bit where she pulls down that pillar, that was her using the lasso.
Oh,
but
wow.
Yeah, but I don't know why. Like, it didn't come off. It came off of the wrong side of her hip, and it was just weird. So yeah, that was a little distracting, but yeah, this is kind of where I got to go a little negative. I didn't like the end death. I didn't like the lack of buildup there was, and I just felt like it was literally, as Billy said, it was Thor versus Wonder Woman all over again. Like Wonder Woman, but here at least She-Ra was close to victory. But then all of a sudden, oh, Wonder Woman goes God mode, brings out that fucking OP sword that nobody can get past, and then slices She-Ra's head off like that. All that happens in the span of a couple of seconds. There is no buildup whatsoever, and I feel like.
Would you say she was Swift Wing with her kill?
You deserve a dumb counter for that.
No, that deserves a pun counter.
No, it doesn't.
That was the second pun. Oh.
I know. I know. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like, especially after Thor versus Wonder Woman, where there were scenes cut out, and Torian admitted that he hated the way that animation turned out, this would have been the perfect opportunity to improve upon that and give us a fucking proper build-up to a fucking death. We didn't get that, and I'm a little saddened by that, because especially when it really did show. I think Jaru called it right. Just having it end the same way. Thanks.
Sorry, I thought that was going to be a silent one.
Yeah, no. Jaru called it right. Having this literally, as soon as she went into God mode, that's it. It didn't matter. There was nothing that could have been done, and yeah. So I like this animation. I really do, but I wouldn't say, and I would say it's leagues above Thor versus Wonder Woman, but I wouldn't.
I disagree.
No, well, it is. So shut up.
Wow.
But I wouldn't say it's better or even close to the levels of Kenobi versus Kakashi, or even Thor versus or even Goro versus Machamp for that matter. Because of it being so short. So yeah, in conclusion, I liked it, but I feel like it being so short and there being a lack of build-up for the end death, just to show Wonder Woman is this ultra badass when those bracelets are off, and literally nothing can stop her, nothing can beat her.
To be fair, that's more on like the writing of DC, or the bad writers of DC. Like, I never even did mention. I do think that adding to her power is kind of a poorly written boost in power. There's not even an explanation for that. It was never like a power that was hidden long ago. It's just, oh, she can do this now.
Yeah, well, it was really just, she's part of the trifecta of DC, and she has to keep up with Superman, otherwise we're sexist. So.
So yeah, that's not on Death Battle's part, but I'm just saying, I feel like, okay, now, in hindsight, when I got done watching this animation, there was a reason why it was mostly She-Ra dominating, because it was literally, as soon as the fight started, you knew right away all She-Ra was gonna do was just delay the fucking inevitable, and Wonder Woman was just gonna sneak away with the kill.
I mean, if it does put your mind at ease, DC don't really acknowledge this power boost as much anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Which that is something I should have brought up in the analysis, but they decided, let's just composite post.
Not that it doesn't exist. Not that it doesn't exist. It's more or less Wonder Woman tries to hold it back because she's so... That's the thing that Death Battle actually never mentioned. When she does go into this form, she loses her mind. Like, she's essentially like the Hulk in this form. She doesn't understand what she's doing. She's just all bloodthirsty. Which that
actually makes the ending where she's all like, oh, that's real power. She's calm. It's like, okay, that's out of character. She should not be making another badass pun. Or one-liner, because she should be fucking going crazy right now.
Just... I mean, it's not like Wonder Woman has so much character that you can easily...
No, well, okay, yes, okay. It's mildly out of character. Thank you. So yeah, that's it. That's my thoughts. Not bad animation, very good. Happy it came out well. Loved the storyboarding, loved everything. Wish it could have been longer. Wish the death would have been much more better. Oh, and wish Shira. Oh, and I wish Shira would have won. Okay, I'm done.
Alright, miserable Jaru, you go next.
I'm miserable because there was a spider in my fucking hair. Jesus Christ.
Do you know what?
I know.
My recording yesterday, I had a spider on my shoulder and I just flicked it off. And the weirdest thing was I was playing a horror game at that point.
I didn't even know
Okay.
what it was. I killed it without even realizing it. Wow.
Oh, you killed it? You monster.
I didn't. I was just trying to get whatever it was out of my hair, and
Yeah.
turns out it was a creature. Let's see. Okay, just watched the Death Battle a second time while it just in the background, just had it playing. So just to refresh my thoughts on the animation. Okay, let's start with the obvious. Shira lost. I'll get into that in my final thoughts after, like, in the like the. I'll discuss that after the fight. That's not as important as the actual fight itself. In terms of the fight, I don't remember what they call this engine that they're using. This animation engine.
Unreal.
Unreal. Wait, is this the same engine that Optimus Prime versus?
Gundam started. Yes.
Oh, it's the same engine.
Yeah. It's the same engine that they've been using since Prime versus the Gundam, and every 3D fight we see, it's the new. It's literally the modern engine that they use. They don't use any other software for their 3D fights other than this engine.
Okay, well, right off the bat, in terms of the character models, like you said, it's impressive that they threw these together. She-Ra definitely looks better than Wonder Woman, but neither of them really look right. Both of them look a little janky, not gonna lie. Just a little bit weird. Like, not too janky, like, they work well enough, but, like, especially when they're, like, zoomed in on their faces, like, it's, like, a little awkward. Like, they're, like, watching their eyelids, like...
Yeah.
I don't know, it looks a little strange. In terms of the main appeal of this would be, oh, look at all the fashy visuals, the fashy special effects on the attacks, and, you know, the light show that happens every time someone swings a sword. I'm not a big fan of it this time around, actually. I just found it really distracting and kind of weird. Like, it didn't quite click with me. I don't know. Has there been another sword fight in this engine?
I
mean,
okay. Well,
no, I'm sure there has
yes.
been.
Well, okay, technically yes. Weiss versus Mitsuru started off as a sword fight, but then that just went past it. So there was.
Wait, no, that was a sword fight, the whole thing, and no, it was a sword fight.
Well,
and their
no,
faces
because
look
after.
pretty good.
Yeah, they did. They looked very good.
Like, Weiss looked better than she does in Ruby, so that's pretty good.
Thank you.
What do you mean? That's the exact same model that she is used in Ruby.
It
but it's a different engine.
Better. Yeah.
Different engine.
Better. Exactly.
I don't know. Don't ask me to explain why it looks better. It just does.
Man, I need to get more people. I need more people that agree with me on this show. No, I jest, of course. I just don't like having people with different opinions from me. Makes more interesting discussion.
Okay. Anyway.
Oh my god. Fuck you. Yeah, so Weiss versus Mitsuru was in it. Wait, when was that battle? The one Optimus Prime. Okay. Oh god, that was season 5.
Yeah,
Jesus.
that was 2 years ago.
So old.
Was it? Wow, I feel old.
I know, right?
Yeah, I guess Weiss versus Mitsuru, it looked good. And so did all of these fights. All these fights look good. I don't know. In that case, it's just these models. The characters just look a little weird. I don't know. It was kind of weird. The special effects didn't work for me. I feel like they went a little too overboard with the Flash. Like, there's just too many, like... I don't know what you call it when they swing a sword through the air and there's, like, glowy trail behind it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
If you look at the very start of the fight when Wonder Woman's like, I have a sword, whoosh, whoosh, there's like this light show behind it. And it's like...
I think they just call that an after effect.
Oh, okay. Well,
something along those lines.
Yeah. Like, let me watch it again. Yeah, she's like, oh, I'm summoning my sword, zoop, and it pops out of existence. And, that's fine. that's fine. The part where it's just like there's a light show for the sword appearing, that's cool. But then she like swings it, and you can like see like she's not moving very quickly. Like the point of that after effect is to be like is to indicate how fast it's going. That's the point of that. So having if you're like casually moving it around and just have it's like one of those streamers or like one of those firecrackers that you wave around. It's like it looks weird. So I don't know. So I think they used that a bit much. Does She-Ra do it too?
Oh,
No, she doesn't. She-Ra
I just,
doesn't have the weird
I was
slap.
just gonna say, no, She-Ra, she's just starting on the ground. She's got her sword on the ground, and she's, saying her intro, and then boom, it's like, okay, yeah, She-Ra was much more better because she didn't have to swing her sword around, swoosh, swoosh, and there wasn't a ton of after effects.
Actually, I just looked up what the lines are actually called. They're just called slashes.
Okay, slashes.
I feel kind of dumb because that feels like it should have been so obvious.
Like when you're just looking at the various like effects, like the dust particles or like the sparks that are kicked up, or that one scene that they shared on social media where like she's like slashing into her shield. It's like it looks fine. It looks cool. I think the moment when She-Ra did her super breath, that looked kind of cool. Although it was a little, I liked her doing the super breath, but like Wonder Woman, like her recovery animation, like she goes flying, but she like it's not a natural arc. She like goes like in this kind of weird upward arc, but then like hits the ground. Like the physics of it don't make sense.
Yeah.
And it's like it just so that's a problem. I didn't like that. It didn't flow naturally in that sense.
Yeah.
The part where She-Ra threw the invisible jet was sick. I liked that a lot.
Oh yeah, it was.
That was a nice reference.
And then the sword fight immediately after that is probably the best part of the battle.
Oh yeah.
Where they're just sword fighting and slashing, and they're going at high speed, and She-Ra like throws her like twirls her sword in the air. It's like that's cool. I like this. And then She-Ra like freezes her, and like it goes well. It looks cool.
Yep.
Also, like I like all this. How does she summon her sword if her bracelets were broken? She summoned them from the bracelets.
Yes.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
No, and I'm sure that was an animation error and not a storyboard error because my man John, he kills it with the storyboard. Sometimes the animators don't follow his storyboards to the T. They just make up shit.
Also, it doesn't make sense that she could break She-Ra's sword because it's supposed to be like indestructible.
Yeah, no, well, not just that. Okay, this is something okay, thank you. I should have brought this up. Thank you. You just reminded me. She-Ra's sword can regenerate from being slashed.
That is true, but you got to think she was killed before it could probably regenerate.
Okay, yes, but the fact that if they wanted to have it be where like, oh, her sword's broken, it's not going to regenerate instantly. Okay, well then, what the fuck then? That just bothered me a little.
It's just to showcase how amazing Wonder Woman is and blah blah. But yeah, no, and it's just a nitpick. It doesn't matter that much. But,
Yeah.
So this fight's a little weird because there are moments where I'm like, okay, this is cool. I like this. And then there are moments where it's like, that didn't really flow naturally. That after effect was weird. It's like it's kind of 50-50. Also, looking at Wonder Woman now, I figured out why I find what was so weird about her model. Have you looked at her neck?
Yeah.
It's like it's about to like explode. It's like what's going on there?
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't get that looking at her.
Well,
it's like she looks like she got poked by Kenshiro. She's about Umaiwu Shinderu.
Yeah, exactly.
Why'd you put that image in my head?
Again, I feel like maybe that's because again, She-Ra's model is clearly the better looking of the two, and they put so much detail into She-Ra's. Like, I don't know. I think maybe
me of the Justice 1 model for Wonder Woman. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I have. Yes. Oh God, I hated that model.
I mean, I don't think it's that bad. I think this one's definitely better than that, but it's still.
It's not.
I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe they could have. Maybe they should have taken more time to adjust the neck.
Yeah, She-Ra definitely looks better, but I mean, oh yeah, oh god, she's so Wonder Woman's so bony. Like she's just like she looks. Oh, actually, the more I look at it, the worse she looks like Injustice 1. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of her model.
I'm slowly holding back my rant.
Shut up.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Tell me to shut up once more and I will slap you.
Okay,
So that-
fine.
but anyway, that's my play-by-play of the match. So, since Wonder Woman's been in 3 matches now, we might as well compare them, see how I would rank them. I'd also like
We'll
to throw in-
probably let's do that for maybe another time. So we are reaching the 40-minute mark.
Well, I'm still discussing my opinion of the match.
Okay, fine.
Compared to Thor versus Wonder Woman, it's very close. Like, I guess I'd put this above it just because it's not. Because Thor versus Wonder Woman was broken. Like, it wasn't even done.
no, yeah.
So I guess I can't really put it above this. So I guess it's above that. But like, I'd put Thor versus Raiden above this. So, and I'd put. I guess I wouldn't put. So I guess this is technically the best Wonder Woman fight, but I would not say it's like the best death battle ever. It's like an 8 out of 10. It's good. It's better than Thor versus Wonder Woman. I'll give it that. But it's fine. I don't know. The animation's good, but it's not as good as the other 3D matches we've had this season.
Oh no. And again, I feel like because of it being on the short side, it started to get good. Like I knew where you were going. It was starting to get good. It was starting to fall into its groove, and then boom, it's over.
Yeah, it's only like 2 minutes and some seconds, while most of the other matches this season were over 3 minutes. Like Obi-Wan versus Kakashi was 3.5 minutes. So, yeah, a little weird. I don't know. But, I mean, it's a fine match. It's whatever. Let's talk about the outcome. Let's talk about who won, what we think of it, etc.
I've already kind of given my fair share of what I think. I'm not too attached to. If this was Netflix's She-Ra, I guarantee I would have been on my bed hugging my pillow, but like, no, she was too pure. but because, okay, here's the thing. I've never seen any of the original She-Ra aside of clips that were shown on the Death Battle, so I can't really say if I like this She-Ra or not. So, I mean, compared to the He-Man clips that I saw in my He-Man, well, not in my He-Man vs. Lino video, but I did eventually watch He-Man vs. Lino, and in the clips they showed of He-Man, he's a likable character.
Yeah. Exactly.
Even though those are only small clips, I mean, he's cheesy.
Also, this episode deserves like a negative 10 out of 10 for Boomstick daring to suggest that She-Ra's theme was better than He-Man.
Thank you.
How dare you?
Well, I mean,
know.
are we comparing the Netflix
No,
feed?
no. Like the original '80s one, like She-Ra.
Okay, because I was going to say, the Netflix theme is fucking bopping.
No. That's probably why I gave it a B, because I should have mentioned that too. Yeah, like Chad, if that is something that was either written in the script, okay, I can forgive it. But if that is something Chad literally thinks, you have.
They're not.
Well-
Chad, I'm disappointed in you.
Well, Ben and Chad do like She-Ra more than they like He-Man.
Well, that's because She-Ra got a fucking Netflix show.
Well,
Just
He-Man,
on that, man.
He-Man's getting one too.
Yeah,
it's
and
a
I guarantee it's going to be better.
Yeah, because fucking Mark Hamill's gonna voice fucking Skeletor.
Oh,
Is he? Is he?
my God.
Do you want Netflix She-Ra? Get the fuck out of it. He-Man's not even out yet, but that's my new favourite show.
God bless.
Okay. No, yeah. Anyway, my
That's my
thoughts-
that's my final thoughts. You know, I'm not too upset with the outcome. I'm happy Wonder Woman won. Richard, take it away.
I'm upset that Wonder Woman won. I'm very upset. I'm very upset. Like I legit. I tried to be less upset in my review, but here, since I get to be myself and just expand upon it, yes, I'm very upset. Because I mean, I like Wonder Woman. I do. I grew up with her in the classic Timverse cartoons. But the problem with this one is, this is the second time they've literally made Wonder Woman so fucking overpowered. It feels like they have to bring in that feminist Wonder Woman that I don't like. And
Every Wonder Woman?
Okay, well, yeah, every Wonder Woman.
Her whole
Almost every
character is girl but strong.
Again, and the fact that I may not have liked She-Ra's original '80s cartoon, and I did watch a couple of episodes. I'm sorry. Even when I was a kid, I knew this was dated. This was bad.
Oh
Like
god, the original She-Ra? Yikes.
yeah, no, but I liked her character in the vein that she was very much like her brother. So this battle kind of reminded me, while she may not, her show is bad, it's beyond dated. Her character was at least just as good as He-Man when you get right down to it. So yeah, and I really felt cheated that the analysis just made us believe that maybe She-Ra is going to beat Wonder Woman, and then throughout most of the animation, it looks like that. But then no, Wonder Woman just goes into God mode, pulls her fucking hack sword, and then just slices She-Ra's neck, and I'm like, wow. And then she ends it off with another brutal one-liner. That's real power. I'm like, He-Man would. I was like, He-Man would totally kick your ass with that shit. Yes. Which, again,
Really? Isn't She-Ra meant to be more powerful than He-Man?
no.
Dear God.
Really?
He's barely on his
He's
level.
He-Man.
Yes,
He-Man.
He's beating the shit out of Superman. Of course he could fucking beat
Killed
Wonder Woman.
Superman.
Okay, do you know
That's
what? I think that definitely, yeah, that settles it. Yeah, He-Man stronger than She-Ra. Wonder Woman screwed.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, no, but I was mainly upset. I was mainly a little salty about this because a He-Man character lost, and it wasn't even one that I liked, but I respected and liked the characterization because that's all She-Ra is. She's literally Adam's twin sister. She acts like him, and therefore, when she lost, it felt like a part of He-Man lost too. Even though He-Man won his fight, and that was 5 goddamn years ago.
You are really butter about this.
Yes, I am, because again, I'm sorry. Again, I like
Feel the hate I had in Obi-Wan versus Sorry, my brain malfunctioned.
No.
Kakashi.
So yeah, it's just yeah. I do. Do I agree with this outcome? If it would have been better explained and they would have had time to, pad it out to really sell me, sure. But I just felt like She-Ra was just brought in to lose. Okay, she was brought in to be hyped up.
I disagree. Death Battle don't just bring in characters just to lose to make another character look good. Maybe the Mask versus Deadpool.
Well, no. Okay, I'm not saying that they did that. No, I'm not saying that they made Wonder Woman look cool. I'm just saying, the way that this fight was structured, it gave you the illusion She-Ra could win.
Well, from your perspective, I would imagine.
Well, again, if that fucking hacks, God rage power and that sword weren't brought in, then I think this could have been a well-balanced matchup.
I mean, then you kind of have to say that about, like, if Doomsday, they never encountered Doomsday's ability to just Uno reverse death, then that would make Hulk versus Doomsday fair.
Look, I hate the New 52, okay? I hate New 52 Wonder Woman because she's even more of a bitch.
To be fair, I think they did kind of edge up everyone in it. Even Superman was kind of an edgy boy in that.
I know, don't remind me.
Everyone was, given extra edge. It was all Lobo, dear God.
Oh, God, we never talk about Lobo. Please do not talk about New 52 Lobo.
Anyway, I'm done. I'm salty. Do I disagree with it? Yes, but do I think Wonder Woman was made up to look, unbeatable? From my perspective, yeah. But again, I like Wonder Woman, so yeah.
Wait, you said you didn't like her.
I do, and I don't like her.
That doesn't make any sense.
It does from my perspective. Shut up.
What?
All right. I guess I will talk now. All right. So, if y'all watched last time, you will have heard that my general opinion on this matchup was that it never should have existed. I was very displeased with it. And I said that the only outcome that could reasonably justify its existence was if She-Ra came in and was godly overpowered and totally annihilated one. That was the only outcome in which I could reasonably justify adding this to the Death Battle Pantheon.
Preach.
Because otherwise, it would just feel like Wonder Woman versus Thor all over again.
Thank you.
What happened?
It's Wonder Woman versus
Thor
all over again.
So I like even down to them having I have a special weapon that turns me into a god, and now I'm going to fight Wonder Woman. And
You sounded like you sound like Dark Knight Bane.
Anyway, it's like it was basically just the same match again. It was almost identical, just with finished graphics, I guess. And it was just like boring. It was like, God, why? Why did we do this again? What? It boggles my mind. It's just like, well, this is the biggest waste of a death battle I've seen in a while. Like, maybe ever, actually. Just because it's like, you could have put these resources into something cool. Instead, you put it into a third Wonder Woman matchup against an opponent she could blatantly annihilate. And it's just like, what was the point? What did this add? Like,
I'll tell you what it added.
Salt.
A He-Man character. Well, aside from Salt, a He-Man character lost.
Yeah.
That's what it added.
That's
And it continues the trend of sibling characters not being able to both win. It's like She-Ra lost, Virgil lost, and Luigi lost.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that's what they mean by second best.
Second banana. But yeah, anyway, so it's not just that the fight. It's not that the fight was bad. Like I said, it's like an 8 out of 10. It's a good fight.
Absolutely.
But the problem is like, why couldn't you? If you just made it something else, it could have been better. Like you could have just done something, but good, like a good matchup, something that added, something that made people go, wow, that's interesting. Instead, it was like, oh yay, Wonder Woman, a DC character, who are always winning and are always coming back. Let's do it again and have her win again.
Do you know what's actually kind of funny? I can't want to express this because I've seen people bitch about it in the verse community. Marvel had the biggest winning streak on Death Battle, but then the moment DC started getting its winning streak, people started hating on DC then. They hate on Marvel, now they're hating on DC winning. I just think that's stupid.
I'm not talking about streaks. I'm just talking about raw data. And the reality of the situation is that Marvel and DC have had vastly more matches than anyone else. But here's the difference. Marvel has lost, on average, more than it wins. Like, it's lost 18 matches and won 14. Whereas DC, with this match included, has now won 20 matches and lost 7.
And bear in mind, the other thing that I should have mentioned this earlier, the other thing that gets me real salty about this and about Wonder Woman winning, she is the first third combatant character to win a second time. Batman lost, Leonardo lost, Deadpool lost. All of these characters that have been back for a third time, they lost. But, super duper Wonder Woman with my fancy hack sword and my unbeatable god power, I get to win.
Alright, so we do need to move to the next time. We've been talking about this matchup for an hour now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Quit trying to rush me, damn it.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay. Sean will take care of it.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Point is, at least with those matches, it was like, okay, we're doing something different. Like even with Deadpool, it was even advertised as, let's fight put him against someone who can actually beat him. And they didn't do that here. They were just like, well, I guess we're going to do Thor versus Wonder Woman again. Huzzah. And it was just, okay. All right. Well, thanks for that, I guess. It's just like, I swear, we're going to move on, and like in a death battle or two, we're going to forget this match ever happened. We're just going to be like, wait, that was a thing? Oh, yeah, I guess that was a thing. It just sort of melted into my memory. Yeah, I don't know. It was a waste of time. It was well made, but it's like a very well made waste of time. I don't know how to phrase it. It was just like, you should have done something different. It was, I don't know. I have nothing else to say. It's disappointing. I don't know. I'm not mad because I don't care. It's like, because I don't care that much about Wonder Woman or She-Ra. But I was hoping at least it'd be something interesting. But it wasn't interesting. It was just, let's have Wonder Woman kill someone again in the exact same way. I don't know. Mediocrity. of matchup and outcome. And good 8 out of 10 match, whatever. I'm so over this already. I just don't care.
Okay. Well, since you're over it, transition, Bill.
Wow, that was a really good, really good transition. So, given how the fact Jaru and Richard are becoming a destruction of force for this previous matchup, let's segue into the next matchup. That was the best I could do, sorry. Well, funny enough, Death Battle is now on a break until August. What day specifically is Death Battle coming back? August the 15th, isn't it?
No idea.
August the 8th.
Right, we don't...
Well, no, 9th. Sorry, 9th.
Alright, DBX is coming back. In fact, the first episode of this DBX is going to be by Devil Artemis, but which is going to feature 4 versus Vegeta.
Well, it's actually going to feature the whole Triple D team.
But a character that's also going to be returning to Death Battle, another Dragon Ball character, is Beerus, the most highly requested character since the first movie he debuted in, which it's about time Beerus finally got into Death Battle.
I'll wait.
I love Beerus. He's okay.
No, I do too, but I'll wait. You say your
Okay, I'll be brief on this because we don't have that much time left. I might extend this to half an hour actually because we want to theorize who this might be. When Beerus was introduced into Dragon Ball, I was skeptical. For one, he looks like a cat that's just been left out to die. But then we actually saw his character. Like, he literally blew up half a planet just because there was a bit of grease in his food. Like, he's not even a villain, really. He's just
No, he's not.
He's doing his job. He's the god of destruction. Okay, if you don't appease me, well, I blow you up. That's my job. Sorry.
He's literally he's the literal definition of. Okay, I would call him an anti-hero, but I know Jaru would call him. What?
No, he's
4 people in a day. In his entire life. He's a
It's
villain.
his job. He's lawful.
Okay,
It's
if
his
your day job from 9 to 5 is to kill people, you're still a murderer.
okay. I have to be, as much as it pains me to say, I do have to be on Jaru's side for this. Beerus is not a hero. Or not even an anti-hero. Deadpool's an anti-hero because he doesn't go out of his way to hurt people like good people. If innocent people get hurt, he feels bad about it. Like in one job he had to kidnap a kid, he felt bad about it. Beerus would gladly kill a kid, well not gladly, it's his job.
Yeah.
He can't disobey his boss.
I consider him an anti-hero because he won't blow up Earth because we have good fucking food, okay? Get off my back.
That doesn't make you an anti-hero.
He's never saved a life, ever.
He saved Goku's life?
No,
Also,
he chose
okay.
not to kill him. That's a big difference.
No. He saved Goku's life from future Goku Black before he even became Goku Black. I count it.
But anyway, so the reason I love Beerus is because he is just one of those characters that doesn't give a fuck. Like, he's the god of destruction, he kind of enjoys it, but he also just wants to have a good time. And the thing that really made me love him was his scene in Dragon Ball Xenoverse when he was pretended to be mind controlled, making it look like he's about to blow up the and only to just throw his energy ball at what's the name of that character again? I never remember his name. Yeah, and he just and then just puts his hands behind his back and just goes, "By the way, I knew you were there." It's like, oh, the disrespect. And nearly every scene he's in, he's just chilling. Like even during like when a villain's destroying the planet, he's just there, just sitting back, just drinking a lovely fruit drink. He's like, I like this. While there's explosions going off in the background. Like he's like Darkseid if he was more chilled. That's how I would sum him up.
Well,
and of course, when I heard he was going to be in a death battle, well, they said they were thinking about it during season 4, and I was thinking, oh, he might be coming in season 5.
Nope.
And I was kind of hoping it was against Darkseid. Sadly, Thanos took that spot, which I didn't hate, but it would have been so good to see Darkseid for Beerus.
Getting off track.
Well, not really off track. I'm just saying my piece on Beerus. So now that he's actually coming into Death Battle, there's one character I do want to see him fight, but given a mass request, I highly doubt it. It's Giratina from Pokemon, the Satan of Pokemon.
Really?
Yes,
That's the one you think is like inevitable?
No, I'm not saying that's inevitable. I'm saying that's what I wanted.
Oh, I thought you were saying that's the one that's like, oh, it's inevitable. And I was
No.
just like,
I'm saying it's not inevitable. It might have not picked up on my microphone. I do apologize if the viewers didn't hear me say that. No, the one I want is Giratina versus Beerus, because the idea of two beings of destruction clashing with each other, it sounds like it would make for an intense battle. Plus, it's Pokemon versus Dragon Ball. That just sounds so cool. Two of my childhood animes fighting. And in my biased opinion, I always loved the Giratina movie that came out years ago when I was a kid.
Never heard of it. Never saw it.
Never saw. I recommend it. It's really good. It's one of the few Pokemon movies that is genuinely good. In fact, his first appearance in that, he beats the crap out of Dialga, the Pokemon of Time.
pretty sick.
Like, his first appearance is like, oh, are you the Pokemon of Time? I'm going to beat the ever living crap out of you. And, and it ends with Dialga running away. This Pokemon can control time, and he ran away from the devil of Pokemon. Like, oh, get away from me. So, but unfortunately, it's not who I don't think. If it is Giratina,
it ain't.
We are recording the podcast straight away. I don't care if you guys are in bed, we're recording it. But the two characters I kind of see happening are another Pokemon, Arceus from Pokemon, which I don't understand the connections really. I get they're both gods, but it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And but this one's very unlikely, but it is highly requested, so I wouldn't be surprised if it does happen. Thanos versus Beerus.
Interesting idea. I mean,
I get it, they're both purple gods, but I just don't care for that.
Okay, well, I highly doubt it. They're going to bring Thanos back this soon.
I feel like Thanos and Darkseid have had their big matchup.
Yeah.
There's no one really that you could. There's no way you can really hype up Thanos and Darkseid. Oh my goodness, man! I need to stop burping during recordings. Like, I don't think you could really top Darkseid and Thanos any more than they already did in Death Battle. You would just have to rinse and repeat what they said. Like, oh, this version of Darkseid isn't actually Darkseid. He actually has his real form in another universe.
Okay then.
So if they do Beerus versus Giratina, I'm going to be rooting for Giratina because, you know, he's my homeboy. He doesn't have a gender, I don't know what you would call it. He identifies as a non-gender Pokemon. But if it's Arceus versus Beerus, yeah, I'm rooting for Beerus all the way. Just screw Arceus. I could never catch him as a kid anyway.
Okay.
So, what do you guys think about... Or let's go to... This time I'm going to Jaru first, because Richard's been too negative.
Have I been too negative? Never mind, whatever.
Death Battle is the worst show ever for putting a Beerus.
What's your history with Beerus as a character, really?
Nothing.
Okay, so...
You know what? I watched, he was in the Broly movie, so that's about it.
Okay, well, I should have just gone to Richard.
Too late now.
It's too late.
But no, I'm familiar with him. I've discussed him. I know his feats and his story and blah blah blah. I know everything. It's not hard to know what's up with a Dragon Ball character. Like, you watch one scene, you pretty much know their entire life story.
Pretty much.
Preach.
And he's cool. He's a cool character. I'm glad to see Dragon Ball back, just because, I don't know, better than Marvel or DC.
Dude, the fact that we had 2 Mortal Kombat combatants this season, oof.
I mean, again, better than Marvel or DC. Like,
fair enough.
What's with your hate for Marvel and DC, man? What have they done to you?
They're the most inconsistent piece of crap series ever. One character will be like, aha, I am a human with the ability to lift twice my weight. And then 2 seconds later, they'll be like, and that's how I destroyed the sun. And you'll be like, what the fuck? Anyway.
Anyway.
Marvel, at least in terms of versus debate. But no, Dragon Ball is cool to have back, despite its prominence in Death Battle history. Dragon Ball hasn't had that many matchups relative to Marvel or DC.
Which is really surprising given their large roster of powerful characters, I will admit.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as who he's going to be facing, the only matchup that I'm particularly familiar with or that I want to see is against Jean Grey.
Okay, I'm not familiar who Jean Grey is, so sum up the...
I don't understand how you don't know who Jean Grey is.
Is she a Marvel or DC character?
Marvel. She's
Oh
the
my
Phoenix.
God.
The Phoenix Force in the X-Men.
Okay, I will say, I've not really seen any X-Men material except Deadpool.
Okay, well that explains it, I guess.
And Cable, but not anything to do with Jean Grey.
Okay, but
Jean Grey
anyway.
is a psychic. She has telekinetic and telepathic abilities, and she also hosts the Phoenix Force, which is the living embodiment of destruction.
Okay, I can see why people request Beerus versus Jean Grey then.
Exactly. So that's the only matchup that I've seen. I thought it was creative. It was more creative than let's have him fight, I don't know, Asura, or let's have him fight another
like that.
character that punches and shoots lasers. I like the more creative matchups over the. Let's have Hawkeye fight Green Arrow. They'll shoot arrows at each other.
I will admit, I do... Okay, just a quick take. I do kind of like the more unique death battles, like Carnage versus Lucy and Cable versus Booster Gold.
That one
Yeah.
was. But, yeah. Carnage versus Lucy is very creative. I enjoyed that a lot. In retrospect, I don't think I liked it that much at the time, but in retrospect, I actually really like it a lot because it's a very creative matchup. And then you get to, in fact, I think this season has been pretty good with the creative matchups. Like Miles Morales versus Static, very different power sets, very different characters. Leonardo versus Red Ranger, same thing. The more interesting matchups this season were matchups where characters weren't anything alike. Like Obi-Wan versus Kakashi is easily the best episode this season, and it was two characters who had nothing in common. And that's what makes it interesting.
They do have quite a bit in common. Obviously,
In terms of their arsenals.
I mean, Kakashi...
In terms of thematically, they're both masters, teachers who had students go to the dark side
In
and all
terms
that.
of their power sets.
Okay, fair enough.
I will admit, Kakashi's not as quotable as Obi-Wan, though.
Kakashi doesn't talk a lot.
I mean, this is coming from a Naruto fan. He does not have that many memorable
Yeah.
lines.
Yeah.
Even Obi-Wan's "Hello there" is more quotable.
I know that. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have much on this matchup. It could be fun. Could be interesting. As far as matchups that I've heard for it, yeah, like Jean Grey, Arceus, Asura, Darkseid, Thanos. And that's about it. That's about all I've heard for them. There might be other matchups, but I haven't heard them.
Is there a matchup you would actually like to see Beerus be in, though?
I mean, I think Jean Grey is a creative one.
I suppose.
I mean, I'd have to look at some options and be like, yes, this is a matchup I'd love to see. I mean, I don't know, like, if we wanted, we could put him against a Pokemon. That could be creative.
Giratina.
Or Zod, maybe?
Zod from DC? Nah.
I
Zod's
There's
not
not
actually.
a lot
Zod's
of,
not that powerful, believe it or not. Right, he's not won a single fight in his life.
I'm sure he's won at least.
Okay, he's not won a meaningful fight.
I don't know, just look at all these matchups. It's like Sans versus Beerus, and it's like
I would want that.
I don't think the internet is giving me many good options here.
Hey, listen, I just finished Undertale. I'd love to see Sans fight Beerus.
Yeah, hilarious meme, but it wouldn't
Yeah.
necessarily make any sense.
No, it would not, but
No.
it sounds funny.
But no,
Yeah.
you can take it away, Richard. I clearly don't
Oh,
have
thank
much
you.
to
No,
say.
no, no, it's okay. Yeah, no. First connection to Beerus, Battle of Gods, obviously. The real Battle of Gods, not the toned down, lazy as crap super retelling.
We don't talk about that.
No, we do not talk about that.
That
I love
never
the
existed.
Yeah, I love the character. In fact, when I went to go see Resurrection F in theaters, I loved seeing Beerus on screen. Like, I could just watch him for hours because he was a great character. But yeah, as to my thoughts on him being in Death Battle, I'm kind of a little bit against it. Not gonna lie.
What?
Not because I don't think he doesn't deserve to be in Death Battle. It's just right now he cannot be in Death Battle because in order for him to properly be in Death Battle, most of it you have to go off of what's established, and then to fill in the blanks or even remotely try to figure out what his maximum potential is, you have to scale him and make conjectures and speculations on, okay, what does his 100% maximum potential look like? Because Beerus is a character that is just a motivation for Goku and Vegeta to get stronger. He is not somebody whose power is displayed all the time. Because again, most of the time we see him, he's laying back, he's chilling, and he chooses not to get involved in shit. You know, and that's understandable. But again, when people choose to debate him, they pretty much agree, okay, we can only guess. We know what 75% of his power looks like, but we don't know what the rest of the 30% looks like unless we can make speculations, which, again, I guarantee you, I know how they're going to play Beerus when it comes to his analysis. I know they're going to have to take that whole, him and Goku were able to collide with each other in 3 punches and almost make the universe explode. And they're going to calc that, and they're going to be like, okay, this must be his maximum potential. Like, I feel like Beerus is one of those characters that needs to be fleshed out first. We need to know what he's truly capable of, and we still don't have it, believe it or not, and we're probably never going to get it. So,
do you know what? That's actually a very good point. I guess why I was just so excited to finally see Beerus in Death Battle, I never really did consider. Yeah, he's never even shown half his potential, really.
No, the closest he showed was when he fought Goku and Super Saiyan God. That's it. Like, the rest of the time, he can just erase people out of existence with barely any fucking effort because he's got destruction. I mean, yes, granted, in the manga, he did fight against other gods of destruction, but you can't even count that as his full maximum. You can just add to it, but you have to scale him to other gods of destructions who have the same power set as he does.
Actually, very little fact most people don't know. It's been said many times that Beerus isn't the most powerful god of destruction that's ever been around.
Yeah. The point is, Whis is more powerful than Beerus.
I think even the other gods of destruction during the tournament were more powerful.
And you know, again, the Goku Black arc. The Universe 6 arc introduced the fucking Omni King, who can fucking erase the whole fucking universe and just be immune to it being erased. So, Beerus, if he die, and that's another thing, Beerus can't die unless you kill the Kaioshin. So, how is Beerus gonna physically be able to die? Well,
also,
exactly.
I do want to point out, like, in the comics, in the manga, that is, they actually had a tournament between all of the gods of destruction, and if I recall correctly, Beerus was like head and shoulders above the competition.
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
He actually had access to like partial Ultra Instinct on top of being himself. So,
okay. And that kind of blows a hole in the whole. Beerus is not that most powerful. I could have sworn I heard years ago that Beerus was not the most powerful god of destruction.
Okay,
I could be mistaken. I haven't read the manga panel.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone in the comments can correct me, then go ahead.
Yeah, again, point is, Beerus should not be in Death Battle right now until we know everything there is to know about what his Because again, we know fucking Goku's maximum potential. We know Vegeta's maximum potential. We know all of these characters and their maximum potential because they've had 30 years of storytelling and mangas and video games showing us just how powerful their 100% maximum potential is. With Beerus, we only have 75%, maybe close to 80 if you want to go into the manga, but that's it. So, yeah. As to who I think he should fight, as much as I joke about it, I will not be surprised if it is Jean Grey. And if it is, okay, fine, I'll suck it up. I think they could make it reasonably entertaining, but I would like to see Asura from Azora's Wrath fight Beerus because I don't know. I just feel like, okay, if you want to have an anime style fight, that's the reasonable choice. But if you just want to have, hey, let's just have a Goku versus Superman-esque fight, then Jean Grey versus Beerus would be the logical choice. So yeah, I don't know which one it's gonna be. I'm hoping, as long as it's not a fucking Pokemon, I think I'm good.
Oh, what?
I'm sorry, but
Are you against Giratina?
It's not that I'm against it. It's just, again, I can't see that being. I don't know how you can make that entertaining.
There are many ways you can make that entertaining. Okay, listen, look up Giratina, watch his movie, and then you'll be like, you know what, Bill? I can see why you want this matchup. It could be pretty.
Okay, I'm sure I will, but I'm just saying. But I am excited that this is going to be a 3D fight. Like they're not gonna. This isn't gonna be a 2D fight. This will be a 3D fight.
Is this the one? Is this the other Death Battle Devil Artemis was working on? Because he said he was working on 2 for this season.
I think this is it. Yes, I think this is it.
Can he top Obi-Wan versus Kakashi? I really doubt it.
I don't think. Yeah, no, I don't think anybody can top that.
I mean, if it's Giratina versus Beerus and Giratina wins, best Death Battle ever.
Well, if it's a Sora versus Beerus, I'm sure it'll be a great fight to watch, but it won't be as good as Kakashi versus Kenobi. But yeah, so those are my thoughts. I'm excited. Beerus is in from like Bill said, as a fan of Beerus, I'm excited, but as a versus debater, I don't think he's ready to be used yet. But hey, what's done is done. So all I can do is just wait to see what they do with his analysis and what kind of scaling they do and what kind of speculations they make to find out, what does Beerus's 100% maximum look like?
I know that Death Battle do scaling now for especially shonen characters.
Well,
but
yeah,
I kind of hope Beerus is not going to be one of those. Like, don't get me wrong, I get why people scale, but can there be a character who doesn't require that? Can there just be a character who shows how powerful they are?
Well, again, that's the problem. Beerus has very few instances where he does show us how powerful he is, and even then, he's only stated that, my fight with Goku brought out 75% of my power and effort. It's like, so you're telling me you were just barely trying? Just barely.
And that was in the movie. And in the show, it was like, yes, I wasn't trying at all.
Exactly, yeah.
So, because they realized, wait, Goku can't be nearly at Beerus' level already, otherwise we wouldn't have a show. So they dropped down how much Beerus was trying.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, people like to try and... I remember when that movie first came out, and so many people, especially like Goku vs Superman fanatics, were like, Goku fought a god at his maximum potential. I think the writers must have saw that and were like, oh god, we can't have Goku be this powerful already.
Exactly. Well, not just that. I know they're gonna have to scale that whole universe-destroying feat to Goku because, again, that show that gives them a clear indication and a way to calculate just how powerful Beerus is at his full potential. So they're gonna use it, even though everybody was like, "No, I don't want them to use it. I hope they never use it." They're going to. It's the only way they can calculate Beerus' 100% maximum. So yeah.
How do you calculate the ability to destroy a universe? I feel like that's physically impossible at this current time.
It is
You
impossible.
can't calculate how much is needed to destroy.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you calculate 20 bajillion nukes going off at once. It's physically impossible to destroy a universe. You can't calculate that.
No, but
Especially since the universe is,
hypothetical.
especially since the universe is forever expanding as we're talking right now.
Yeah.
You could. It's going to be hard to calculate, really. I guess they could count the shockwave, like how powerful must the shock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Destroy-
I'm sorry, I misread.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, Billy was right. Yeah, I think they're going to calculate the shock wave and just how powerful were their punches, and seeing these shock waves, create ripples that potentially could destroy the universe if they did it a third time.
Punches that shattered planets like light years away, but for some reason didn't destroy the Earth.
Yeah, and it was able to travel to the Kaioshin's world and be felt there, which again, that makes perfect sense. Which if they
calculate
did it the third time, Beerus would have died.
I have to say, if they actually calculate how powerful the shockwave is, and not the destruction level, calculate how powerful the shockwave is, that would be probably the coolest thing ever.
Well, it's impossible. There's no physical way.
Well, I mean, to the extent they could calculate, if you were to calculate what is known of our universe and calculate how far a shockwave must go if it can travel this distance in the universe, that's already powerful enough already.
There's nothing for the shockwave to travel through.
No.
Yeah.
Because the shockwaves travel literally from Earth to other planets, and they even travel to the Kaioshin's world, which
Another plane of existence. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, unless you're Seth the programmer, who seems to know everything about the universe.
Let's not discuss.
Yeah, well, fuck him then. Anyway, yeah. I'm done.
Please don't attack us. Please don't attack us. We were just joking.
Oh, please.
Let's not insult other YouTubers. Let's keep things civil.
It was all in good fun. We do not spite other YouTubers. Everyone's free to their freedom of speech, except for Jaru. He has no freedom of speech on this podcast.
Yeah, no. The whole thing with Beerus is so stupid because it's like even if you could come up with some explanation, like it warped the fabric of space-time and the ripples through that destroyed the planets somehow. It doesn't make any sense that Earth wasn't destroyed. Everything in the solar system should have been gone. Everything in the galaxy should have been gone.
Yeah, after two shocks, it should have been gone. Like, after one shock, it should have been prepared. Everything around should have been, starting to tear away. And then by the second shock, everything should have been gone. There's no way there shouldn't be. But again, the fucking writers, fucking Akira Toriyama and the fucking writers, misinterpreted that. So I don't know. But I know they're going to use it.
Follow the laws of physics at all.
No.
As far as destroying the universe is concerned,
Okay.
in the past, the way Death Battle has approached that has just been like, how much energy would it take to vaporize all the matter in the universe that we know exists, maybe, ? And it's like, you don't actually know how to destroy an actual universe, because that would require destroying space and time and stuff, which is impossible as far as we know. So there's no way to calculate.
In fact, if there's any verse debaters watching, well, I mean, obviously there's going to be verse debaters watching this, but thing you need to understand, when writers give these characters that much power, they didn't get scientists to calculate how powerful it is. They were just thinking, oh, this looks cool. They don't expect people to actually go in depth to figure out how powerful it is. And even if you did, the writers will probably just say, oh, okay, then we don't think it's that powerful or something like that. DC have downplayed the Flash a lot, believe it or not.
Especially recently.
There's a feat in which a city was going to explode, and the Flash saved every single... Okay, the city was the size of New York City, and he saved every single human being, including pets. And according to DC's writer, he was only moving at the speed of sound. I'm like, bullshit! That is bullcrap.
Again. Well, to further add to my point, to finish my point, this is why you're never, ever, 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 ever gonna see the fucking Omni King in Death Battle, because that little fucker can just be like, oh, I could destroy the universe and space and time like that, and I'm going to be the only one left.
Yeah, Omni King's never getting into Death Battle. I think even Death Battle have said themselves, no, he's not getting in.
Yeah, they also said Yoda's not getting in, and I guarantee he will.
Okay, no, there is actually
No,
some
they-
misconception about that. They don't say he's not getting in. They just say they don't know what to pair him up against.
No,
Yeah.
no. Ben has
There's
straight
no
out
such
said.
thing as a matchup that they won't do. They will
No,
do
Ben.
everything for
Yeah,
them.
Ben does not like Yoda being in Death Battle. He hates the idea of him being in Death
Well,
Battle.
he
But,
also
you know,
hated
hey,
he hated Sakurai in Death Battle. Sasuke in Death Battle, and he got in Death Battle.
that was inevitable. God dang it.
I mean, he
Yeah.
died, so I guess Ben was.
But no, as far as your thing, like, oh, writers didn't now think about the physics, that doesn't matter. That's not an excuse.
No.
You don't have to be like, here's the scientific explanation for how this supernatural, non-existent ability works.
I know.
You
I'm
don't
just
have to
saying.
do- you don't have to do that. But what you do have to do is make it make some vague semblance of sense to
Yes.
a person with half a brain.
I know.
and
I'm
I'm
just.
Yeah, no, you're just saying.
Oh no, I meant like to a lot of verse writers or verse debaters. They seem to think the writers are just scientists, physiologists.
Well, they're not.
No, they're not. They're just. Well, I'm a writer who's made a character destroy a planet from firing a laser beam. I can't calculate that.
Yeah.
If you were to
Point
tell-
is,
Like, I just thought it would look cool. So I think like a lot of verse debaters seem to think Akira Toriyama thought about the power of how much it would take to destroy this universe, but really he didn't. He's not a genius.
No, look, it doesn't even make sense within the world of Dragon Ball, but, you know, hey, they're gonna use it, they're gonna talk about it, and if they're gonna use whatever trick in the book they can to figure out Beerus' maximum potential, they're going to take those opportunities.
Yeah, and the way they'll do it, and the way that all versus debaters do this sort of thing, is that anytime they reach a character who is quote unquote universal or multiversal in terms of their destructive capabilities, they just have to start relying upon vagaries, all vagaries, because there's no other way to approach it. It's just vague nonsense that loops in on itself. So all they'll do is be like, well, X character, Beerus can destroy the universe, but this character can destroy two universes. So they win. Like, that'll literally be what happens. Literally.
Mhm. And that's why if Goku ever does come back for a third time, of course they're gonna add, oh yeah, Goku was capable of destroying the universe, and now he possibly could do that.
I mean, when he fought Broly, they were traveling through different dimensions.
That was
Yeah.
never explained at all, and I hate it.
well, no,
My
Gogeta.
theory is that, because, like, whenever they do it, like, the world's, like, all cratered and shit, and then they go into the other dimension, and then they come back, and it's no longer lava. And it's like, what the fuck? So, my working theory, my head canon, that's probably wrong, is that Whis did his little time rewind thing. Because he was there. So that's the only explanation I can give for why they suddenly went through dimensions and why the battlefield completely changed. For no reason.
Hashtag Gogeta Blue is a dimension hopper.
Given your profile picture, Jaru, would you say that's your head Ganon?
And I think that's about the sign to wrap it up.
And that's where we're gonna end it, ladies and gentlemen.
We end it on a bad pun.
No, yeah, we should. Sean's gonna
No,
kill
it was a pretty
you
good
if-
fun, actually.
Yeah, no, Sean's gonna kill you, Billy, if this is over 2 hours.
He will, and to be honest, he probably has the highest chance to do so.
Exactly.
So, you know what? We'll leave. I did kind of want to do a bonus episode where we talk about He-Man vs. Liner. Maybe we'll make that be its official episode next week. So, so Lads Discuss Death Battle isn't going on hiatus. I will find things that we could talk about for the
We are
meantime.
not talking about DBX unless we are 100% required to.
I mean, I'm gonna watch
Never
DBX. I
watched
don't think DBX is worthy of a topic. Really, they're just fun little. It's like a McDonald's meal. You know, you go in, you have some fast food, and then you just move on.
Vegeta versus Thor is definitely worth one because they're like, oh, we could have had this as a death battle. Let's have it as DBX first, and then we'll have it as death battle. We get fucking Wonder Woman back for a third fucking time.
Oh, let's get fourth time, let's go! You know what? I've totally changed my tune. I want her back a fourth time. I'm an anarchist. Let's have her come back and fight herself Wonder Woman versus Wonder Woman.
Okay, oh god, my cheek.
See you next time, everybody.
My cheeks are hurting. So, what do you guys think about Beerus coming into Death Battle? Who do you think he's going to fight? Who do you want him to fight? Leave your comments down below, and I'll pin the best one in the top comment. And if someone says Giratina, I'll love your comment.
Good night, everybody.
Catch y'all later.
Farewell, ladies and gentlemen.